Welcome to another episode of Hardcore Minecraft Deep Dives, the series in which we examine, explore, and explain the game of Minecraft. Today, okay, what is going on here? Hi, you are stuck inside of a root. You want us to cover mangrove trees today? Right, yeah, because every single barge is made up of a bunch of mangrove logs and wood, and I probably have a lot of extra supplies, right? Is that right? Well, joke's on you, I don't. But I guess I will cover mangrove trees anyway, and we'll get more supplies, seeing as how you've covered our entire base in mangrove trees. It doesn't look half bad, it's not what I'm going for here. Well, mangrove trees it is. The definition of a mangrove tree is one that resides on the border of like a marshland or kind of a swampy area, and it can be a shrub or a tree. And in Minecraft, in the case of Minecraft, the mangrove trees are these lovely trees that grow with their exposed roots. They actually have a whole root system and little mossy platforms as well. And sadly, these aren't roots that you can walk through. You can find mangrove trees besides inside my barge. You can find them in mangrove swamps. It's kind of a new biome to Minecraft. It came out pretty recently. In terms of the one that I'm playing currently, 1.21.8, it came out pretty recently. And you can also find them in the entrances to trial chambers as well. I'm going to talk a lot less in this barge because of all of my noisy animals. If you're looking for a mangrove swamp, chances are you'll find it next to like biomes. That's how the generation works. So on the borders of oceans, next to swamps or next to a jungle biome, you have the possibility of finding these mangrove swamps. And they're pretty cool. They have these frogs in them and a lot of mud and a lot of roots. And I would say these are one of the messiest trees to grow in Minecraft. Just getting to the wood, you have to climb, and so the way that these grow is obviously they'll grow the four extended roots connected up here to a like a log pillar that goes up. And it goes up pretty high, and then it has these branches here. I did not grab. I was not prepared. And then they have these branches, which will go out in a diagonal, separated out by leaves, which just makes it that much more painful to farm. Because you have to switch between your axe and your offhand as to not waste your axe durability on leaves. They can be extremely tall, and they can even grow beehives. 1% chance of having a beehive. And they don't even need flowers to do so because the propagules are counted as a flower in terms of beehive percentage rates or something like that. And you can see that these leaves, they have these little things sticking out the bottom of them. Those are the sapling versions for the mangrove trees. They're called propagules, or actually, you know what? I'm gonna look it up because I might be saying it wrong. Apparently it's called propagule. So they have these propagules hanging out all over the place. One just broke. Where did it go? Where are you, my friend? Where did you fall to? Oh well. We'll grab this one. Fine. Here it is. Ta-da! Yeah, they'll oh, it's on the leaf. I gotcha. but they'll grow on the bottom of these. So besides other trees' leaves dropping saplings, these ones will grow saplings underneath. And it won't just spawn them. Whatever the tree spawns in with will grow to full. They have stages just like crops do. Let me see if I can spot one that's not fully grown. We come up here. Nope, we need your space, thank you. Let me bone meal this. That'll start the process of the propagules. Now my question is, can I bone meal it again? I can. There's another stage, kind of looks like a raisin. There's another, and another, and another, and that's what it looks like when it's fully grown. So if the leaves don't drop saplings, what do they drop? I hear you say in your lovely toneless voices in my head. That's a good question, and the answer is simple. They drop a lot of sticks. Not a lot, just your normal amount of sticks. You can farm this whole thing and not have to worry about any of the stuff falling as long as you collect all of your propagules. You could just leave all the leaves. We're gonna have to do this next part in a different location. To the teleporter. I'm teleporting. Don't tell anybody. Whoa! And here we are. The mangrove forest, filled with mud, frogs, and knee-high water that's warm for some reason. It's very unsettling. But the way that the mud interacts with the roots is something I wanted to point out. If we go ahead and dig ourselves into the ground here, no, too much digging. Look at that. The roots went into the mud and created muddy roots. Now this only happens with mud, but it'll keep all the way down to the bottom. And it'll change every single one of these into muddy mangrove roots. And the cool thing is that the normal, besides the texture, is that this one, the mangrove roots tool of choice is an axe. The muddy mangrove roots choice of tool is a shovel. And it's the same roots, but just because it's in the mud, it chooses a shovel instead of an axe. Now I'm gonna stay down here for the night, and I really hope that I'm relatively safe down here. I'm not prepared for the nighttime. While I'm down here, you can make your typical wooden things, trapdoors, doors, planks, slabs, pressure plates, buttons, all that good stuff. Sticks. If you don't get enough from the leaves, you can make more. With the wood, you can turn your entire mangrove tree into just a big pile of sticks if you wanted to. Nothing's stopping you. Nothing's stopping you at all. Nothing to do with the muddy mangrove trees. I also made this crafting table with the mangrove logs as well. Now that I've survived the daytime, we can get back to the task at hand. The propagules can be planted on any of the dirt and grass blocks that you can think of, but another one they can grow on, which is surprising, is clay. If there's clay around here somewhere, maybe, yes. I wanted to test this because I couldn't find any actual evidence. You can plant them here in 1 block thick of water, but I wanted to know if you can plant them lower. Ooh, you can. 2 blocks lower, too. Okay, well this requires testing. Further testing. Can I plant it 3 lower? I can. Okay. How low can you go? Doing a little water limbo with our propagules. Okay, they passed the 1, 2, and 3. Let's test 4. Nice. Let's test 5. Oh. I don't know if they can grow this deep, but it's definitely cool that they can be planted this deep. Okay, they did 5. That was this block here. Let's try 6 and 7. Yes, yes. Is it just light permitting? As long as it has enough light to be planted? Let's go down here. Can you be planted? Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. Oh no! Okay. Now I'm really curious. I tried this at my base. I did. I couldn't plant them down at the ground. Maybe I wasn't planting them on clay. Maybe I tried planting them on sand thinking that would work. Huh. We're gonna have to test that. Because the way that this works is it searches in all 4 directions, north, east, west, and south, for a block to plant its roots on. Because it doesn't have, wherever you plant it, that's not where it's looking to start the tree. It's looking for places for the roots. So when you're planting one sapling, or one propagule, you're really trying to plant it in a way to where all 4 directions have a spot, have a spot for the roots to grow in. As you can see, it can be as small as this, where it's just like these 3 around this center block here, and then it just has an offshoot for some freaking reason all the way out this way. So some of these big ones in here. Where are the big ones? Give me some big one. Look at that. Look at that one. Look at this. Its center is here. It decides one root directly next to it, one root over that way, one root all the way over there, and then another one here. That's crazy. This is really one of the most chaotic biomes I can think of, but it's so beautiful. Oh, wandered into the wrong one. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's more like it. I was starting to see jungle trees. Now we want the swamp, baby. I love it. Ooh, a lily pad. Now we gotta go back. I mean, teleport back, of course. Of course. You know, us and teleportation. That's one of my superpowers. So let's go back to our raft and see just how deep a mangrove tree can relatively grow. I was debating whether or not to bone meal these propagules under the water, and then I thought I've had enough difficulty with drowning for one day. We're gonna head down here and just we're gonna just plant one real quick, and then we're gonna see what the light level is down there. Oh, that's gonna require my F3. Alright, I'll be right back. So, it is currently 2 light level down there. So under normal circumstances, if it's 2 above the ground, it won't grow. But what if we make it not 2? Like, what if we pretend underwater is underground? You can reliably grow these trees underground, given them enough space. Let me build something that can withstand the pressures of the deep. And we'll increase that light level down there. I think I'm going to make a few of them. What does this bring us up to? So it brought us up to a light level of 13. I'm dangerously low. 1 trident and it's over. Careful. I put a lantern down there. And I think I want to do this 2 or 3 more times. Just to make sure that I get some good data. These here are our testing sites. We've got one up there at the top. We've got one down there. Another one relatively close. I put in a bunch of seagrass. Maybe that'll change something. Maybe the seagrass will make it so the roots don't grow. There's one over there being protected by a drowned for some reason. And then there's one down there, which is a little bit further down than this one, but not too far down that I can't actually reliably go down there without drowning. Because it definitely gets deeper. But I didn't feel comfortable. I'm gonna just say that right now. I felt pretty safe on top of the water. Oh, we gotta take out all these trees. This one's gonna take me a bit. You're planting them, but you won't dig them up yourself. No, of course not. No, I'm just gonna stand here with my papagirl and just watch you do all the work. Oh, yes, of course. Yes, of course. If you're looking to grow your tree underground, you do need a minimum of a 5 by 5 by 5 area. It can grow to be taller, so you can stretch the height to whatever height you want. But again, it's going to search for those places for the roots in 4 different compass directions. So really, you can make it bigger to have it grow faster. The 5 by 5 by 5 is kind of just a minimum. It will look for a place to put the roots between 7 blocks up and 7 blocks down in those different directions out to a radius of, I believe, 5. So Steven has told me that he planted some of these trees on farmland. And so I wanted to take a look at this. It looks like the roots have planted themselves here, but they haven't because there's a crop there. So it won't actually break your crops, which is kind of cool. Where did he plant the tree? He must have planted it here. And when the tree grew, it didn't turn this into dirt either. That's cool. I wonder if it's different if there is no crop here. Let us actually find out. Let us clear out this area, and we'll clear out these trees, and then we'll plant another one, and that'll be another thing to test. Well, because I messed it up, we can show this. The mangrove roots can hold water without spilling. So you hear that the water will actually cease, and there it goes, yep. That's because it's all held in here. It acts just like the leaves, because the leaves can also hold water just like that. Which is very useful for building with water next to redstone, because water disrupts redstone a lot. I know I have a lot of trouble. Yeah, I have a lot of trouble with redstone in the first place, let alone trying to get it to work near water sources. So that is going to be really fun to work with as a mechanic. So I retilled the soil that I had used to put the moss on. We're just going to grab ourselves our propagules. We'll put one here. And we'll put one here. We'll just do 2. Keep it nice and simple. That's going to be interesting later. And we will do it... oh, okay. Alright, well that's a nice, easy solution. Trees, when grown on the farmland, seem to take up the farming crop area. So it's only if something's growing there where the tree roots will stop. Kind of an interesting mechanic going on there. And then we can talk about this now too, because it's already here and I already mentioned it like a crazy person. Look at this. They will grow completely submerged in the water. I've got that one that grew, this one, and this one. And I bet you that the other 2 are going to grow as well. They haven't already. Oh, this is cool. This would make for some... oh, it did grow. It's cool. Underground trees? Yes, please. Or underwater trees? That's cool. I love that. That's awesome. Who knew? Make something out of this. Hey, these trees can help you with a city that's been flooded. These will still grow at any height in the water. Oh, oh, it's so cool. I think maybe one of the most frustrating parts about harvesting these is the branches, because they're just that one block further than you can mine from standing where the main pillar is. And so sometimes you do have to just jump in that way to go get the rest of your tree branches. So this is how I do it. I take out the roots first, and I go up the pillar as high as I can. Then I start from the top and I mine out these branches. And I figured out a pattern. You can mine this one straight on, then switch to your offhand, mine 2 blocks up, just because you know you're going to jump up and have to go and head this way. You might as well leave room for your symmetrical body. Oh no! Whoa, that's never happened. I was about to say you don't have to worry about falling, but I guess I was wrong before I even said anything. So therefore, I can't be wrong because I haven't said it yet officially. I heard that drown, and I don't really want to fight him. He could have a trident. I don't want to deal with trident boys. Thank you. Not today. Maybe in the future. Did I get all iron? I did. I ended up doing it. Well, that's good. That'll protect me a little bit further. Okay, we're getting there. I am gonna probably have to use up a bunch of water-breathing potions to do these, but we'll leave them here for now. They're not too much of an eyesore, and I might actually plant some more, because I was thinking this whole ocean is very wide and large, and there can be tridents thrown at me at any point in time. These create a blockage of eyesight. I can use these to maneuver around. Not get hit by tridents as often, maybe? I don't know. All it would do would be create more work for me in the future to remove those trees. So after you have harvested all your trees, you're going to have a lot of this mangrove roots. A lot of these mangrove roots. Grammar's not my forte, okay? Alright? Alright, I didn't do the best. But that doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. Number one for the mangrove roots here is that they actually, I figured out, are a better option for your farmland besides leaves. If you want to see the water, you can still put slabs and stairs and stuff like that to cover it up, trapdoors, whatever. But this looks better than a leaf, and it's less instant breakable than a leaf would be with your fists. And you can actually place stuff on it, whereas the leaves, you would not be able to do so. Or you could put, like, lanterns, but the torches, specifically the torches, you can't put on those. And so that's kind of a cool little upgrade you could do to your farm if you're using leaves currently. Another thing you can do with these roots is you can put them in a composter like this, and each of these will have a 30% chance to increase the compost pile. Which is great because you just got a bunch of them from your trees. I mean, look at all this. I got all these. I'm going to save some of these for building, maybe. Another thing that you can do with the mangrove roots, besides using them for building and composting and water logging and all that, is they can be put in a furnace as fuel. They will burn in a normal furnace like this one. They will burn 1.5 items, which is very nice because that means that this will actually smelt more items than a stack. Mangrove roots will also make a bass sound similar to a log when placed underneath a note block. In case you don't have logs, you can use the roots. Another cool feature, including these mangrove roots, is the muddy mangrove roots will act a bit more like dirt, in the sense that you can actually plant stuff on these. Bamboo, azaleas, trees, sugarcane will even grow on here. But my question is, if they're muddy, will the sugarcane grow without the need of water? No. But you can take the normal mangrove roots, mix them in with mangrove roots that are muddy, and make yourself a little compact sugarcane farm with no extra water. I mean, look at this. I can even make it this small. Like a little survivor's thing. Oh, hell yeah, that's definitely going on these somewhere. I'm gonna start myself a farm. It's gonna be great. Oh, I forgot different tools of choice. So being grown down here, they seem to automatically waterlog the roots, and none of the vines spawn or the propagules. Uh-oh. Woo. Up here they do, but below they don't. And here is the rundown of what you'll get from a mangrove tree. Depending on where it's grown, you'll get some muddy mangrove roots, muddy, non-muddy mangrove roots, mangrove leaves, the log, the vines, the moss carpet, the sticks, and the propagules. I'm going to remove that before I have to remove another tree. Both the logs and the leaves can hold water, which I do not have. But it's good. That's some good stuff right there. And as you may or may not have noticed, most of my barges are built using mangrove. I like the way that the logs look. I have these actually as mangrove wood, which is taking your logs and putting them in a 2x2 square to make 3 mangrove wood. Does it make sense? No. No, it doesn't have to make sense, apparently. And then I sheared them, which is pretty simple. You just place this down, and then you right-click it with an axe when you're not holding a shield. There you go. And it gives off this nice, like, beet red color, which is fantastic. I love it. Then I have my mangrove doors, and I used the wood and logs, like I was trying to say before, and I got sidetracked, as kind of a rusty metal color. I have trouble with metals and building in Minecraft. I wish we had more metals that could look rusty. I mean, we have the copper, but we don't really have much else. And so I use this. I do not want you on my barge. Thank you. I use it all the way down here. I had to go for a darker slab because the red slabs were just not doing it for the barges. But yeah, I think the wood and the logs could look really good as a rusted metal. The wood itself gives off a beautiful red color that can be used for both roofs and walls of your buildings. They make it look really nice. The mangrove roots, those are really cool. We can actually put some down here as well. But they kind of, to me, they kind of look like crab cages. So I think that's how I'm going to use them here. As kind of like extra little holding cells for these crabs that we do not have. These roots can actually help with making dead trees look more dead, because they kind of look like a big cluster of branches instead of just the log. I also think that you could use these as natural dams. You can combine the muddy mangrove and mangrove wood maybe and the mangrove roots to create kind of a big kind of blockade in a river of sorts. You know what I mean? That makes sense. Obviously, it'll be taller. It kind of looks kind of thrown together by a beaver or something. If it's covering the ending of a what are they called? River, then it would look really nice. Obviously, you don't have to listen to my suggestions for building. I'm just throwing these in here because it is a deep dive, and it would be nice to have a few different ideas on how to build with the different items that I'm covering. So it's a bit sloppy and it's a bit thrown together, the creative building parts, but I'm trying my best. I do think that we can utilize these mangrove roots maybe as tiny trees. Obviously not that, but if we maybe make little tiny branches, something like this, maybe, yeah. Yeah, they kind of look like little bushes. And maybe if you used, instead of these tree leaves, you used flowering azaleas. That looks kind of like when those trees are grown to have multiple roots and they kind of just tangle together, kind of like a rose bush. And it just gives you a different alternative to stumps, of stumping, different stumping, to stump differently. That's what we're here to do. Yeah, sure, yeah. The last point I'll make in terms of building would be that I think that looks better as a uh, palm tree trunk than the jungle tree trunks. And then I also believe that that looks better as like palm tree leaves than it does when it's jungle. So before, when I ever would make palm trees, I would use jungle logs and jungle leaves. But I think now, I think that this would look even better as your beautiful little palm tree. And I believe that's it. I believe we're done. Um, yeah, that's all I got for you.